childhood. And to my dismay, my children think I have subjected them to the same. No, I say, I'm different. No, they say, you are not. IPS is a term devised by the next generation. To them, it's an intriguing, meaningful term. And in my opinion, it's a baseless, nonsensical, gracious term. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, very welcome guests, and my partner in madness, Julie, my very good friend from California. A warm welcome to you. IPS. Here we go again, another aspect of a speech related to India, Alan. Indian Parent Syndrome. The supposed idiosyncrasies of the average Indian parent, which I like to say I'm not part of, but as I mentioned, my children think I'm typical, a sufferer of IPS, and I'm grateful more than anything else that they are not in the audience today, my children. Indian parents are adorable. They take so much extra care of you. They try to fulfill all your demands. They pay for your education, and they do not kick you out of the house even when you're 50 years old. What do they want in return? Just some love and MBA, and the fact that you have a spouse perfectly suited to their dreams, not necessarily yours, and the spouse should be Indian. And basically, just be more successful and better than the neighbor's children. Most typical Indian parents are heavily involved in their children's life choices, their studies, their career, and obviously their choice of spouse. Indian parents are the helicopter parents that hover around their children until the day the parents die. So the children could well be in their 60s or 70s by then, but they're still getting mummied and daddied at that time. Indian parents have a way of saying the most outrageous, outlandish, and offensive statements. Our sweet Indian parents say these things to us that go straight through one ear and out the other. And there are a few funny lines which are actually pretty darn great that Indian parents use. Here are some things that you would understand only if you were raised by an Indian parent. Childhood. Beta, uncle auntie ko gana sunao. That means this little 5-year-old is dragged out because uncle and auntie are visiting. So can you recite that poem you learned at school or that song that you learned newly? Now this uncle and auntie could well be the cousins, classmates, somebody's uncle and cousin. No real uncle auntie. They are uncle and auntie because they're in the house. So this little child has to come and recite, and that's the parents feeling very proud. And number 2 in your childhood, no junk food. Indian rotis are the best. In school, always sit on the front row. Only befriend the toppers. And a minimum score of 99%. That should be your grades. You have to take at least 5 summer holiday courses, extracurricular, and whether you like it or want it is of no consequence. You just take it. In school, while your friends for Halloween dress up as ghosts and vampires and witches, you will be put in a sari and arrive as an Indian princess every single year. Magic words of wisdom to the youngster. Wake up early. That will solve all your problems. No lie in ever. Education. You scored only 98%? Have you really lost all focus on your studies? What is distracting you so much? But never mind, you did score more than Bunty, Pinky, and Raj in the neighbors. So that's kind of okay. After all, comparison is the key. Graduate at 21, masters at 23. Occupation, engineer, doctor, teacher. If you do anything outside this range, your parents really don't understand exactly what you do for a living. Salary, okay, as long as it is more than the neighbor's children. That's fine. Marriage. If you don't make perfectly round chapatis, your husband will leave you. That's what the Indian parent says to their young daughters as they're growing up. Learn to cook. No one will marry you otherwise. Marriage obviously has to be with somebody of the same caste, same religion. And should you stray from this zone, be scared, be very scared. After experiencing pangs of anxiety, weeks of diarrhea and sleepless nights, how would you tell your parent that you're dating somebody else? Try Google how to tell your parents that I am dating a foreigner. And that foreigner could well be another Indian, but from another part of India. Google and its endless forums don't really help, because eventually the final decisions are going to be made in consultation with the astrologer. Indian parents have a special talent of faint on demand, and they can actually have that fabled heart attack induced by unruly children, and they can die. This is a basic Indian parent defense mechanism, and it appeals to your child's sense of guilt, and you tell them that you have a heart disease and you will die if they create any stress for you. It works most times, but they will not work if your children really hate you for putting them through that stress and they want you to die. Live demonstration of such fainting and heart attack available as a masterclass, any Bollywood movie. And finally, a verdict on dreams. Dream whatever you want, but follow only mine. Goodness gracious me.